Hello, good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you're at. Welcome to part two of Genesis chapter 9. Really good stuff in here today. Actually, as I was doing my research before this segment, I found out a word in there that kind of changed the whole perspective of something. And I'm wondering, if you just heard Genesis chapter 9 for the first time on part 1, we learned about a rainbow. So I can't wait to get to that part. But anyways, okay, let's start. Genesis chapter 9. All right, and sorry, version is New American Standard Version. So it is going to sound a little different than NIV that we had previously. All right, chapter 9 says, "And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, Be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth." All right, that's pretty simple, right? Go make some babies. Go be God some children. All right. The fear of you and the terror of you shall be on every beast of the earth and on every bird of the sky, with everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are given. Now this makes sense. Now he's putting the fear of animals, or fear of men, in animals. So like when you go up to that little bird in the bush, you're like, oh, what a cute little bird. Or on your deck and you got bird seed out and and it flies away. That fear was instilled upon that creature because of God at this point in time. Now let's think about that. That wasn't there before. So there was no fear in animals with that. Now that explains why. Adam was able to sit there and name all the animals. He probably called them up and said, oh, you're a bird. Oh, you're a fish. Oh, you're whatever, And then Noah got the animals on the ark. They didn't fear him. So he could just walk up, pick up, the lion and bring him on board, and a little cute and cuddly thing. Again, going back to that, can you imagine trying to pick up an adult lion? Oh my gosh, things are huge. He couldn't pick it up. So they all had to be babies. I swear, it's got to be. It's just speculation. I don't know, man. Okay, so now every animal's got the fear of man because God put them in there, right? So now every animal fears man. All right. But it also says, into your hand they are given. So how is that possible? That means that you can conquer every beast that's on the earth. Every beast has that fear of you, but you can conquer over them. Okay. Every moving thing that is alive shall be food for you. I give all to you, and I gave the green plant. Let me read that one more time. Every moving thing that is alive shall be food for you. I give all to you as I gave the green plant. So remember, we were vegetarians before. Right? He said, every green plant, every seed-bearing tree, I give to you as food. He didn't give fish for food. He didn't give pigs or deer or anything else like that, cows, chickens, turkeys. He gave us plants. Now he's telling us, now you can eat animals. Wow. Remember when we talked about God liking barbecue? Maybe it smelled so good, he's like, oh, my people got to be able to eat this. This is good stuff. Okay, you guys can eat the food. Eat the animals. It's good. I don't know. My mind's going. I'm just saying. All right. Now, only. Here's the only part, right? There's always that. There's a little thing you got to know. Is only you shall not eat flesh with its life that is in its blood. So, don't eat the meat with blood in it. Freshly killed something. And that's interesting because the blood is what gives you life, right? It regenerates your cells, gives you oxygen. All these things that are happening in your body is part of that blood. So you have to cook out the blood, of it, or drain all the blood out. You can't just eat the blood, which I know that some cultures that's a thing, right? Again, that's fascinating to me. So, raw steak, You know, when you go get your steak, and it's like, I like a medium well, which means it's juicy. It's maybe a little blood in there. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. But to eat it like barely seared and then, you know, with blood in it, is that the blood he's talking about? I don't think so. Me personally, I think it's just like if it's saturated in blood, you know. I mean, it's kind of like when the blood was cut or the blood dripped out of Abel, you know, from Cain's hand onto the ground. The ground was calling out for that, you know, hey, I got blood in me, you know, Lord, whatever he said, whatever. The Lord sensed that Abel's blood wasn't in him anymore, you know. So maybe that's a thing too. We gotta cook it out a little better. Anyways, just a thought. That's not. Don't think that's a mandatory statement from God Himself. This is just me reading the Word and letting you know what my mind is saying. So get you thinking about that stuff. So anyways, okay, I gave you green food. You shall not eat flesh with its life, that is its blood. So surely I will require your lifeblood from every beast. I will require it. Now this is getting interesting. And from every man's brother, I will require the life of man. He's requiring it. Surely I will require your lifeblood from every beast. I will require it. So does that means he's holding accountable? You know, like if an animal spills our blood, he's going to hold that animal accountable. Or if we shed somebody else's life, blood, he'll hold us accountable. So whoever sheds man's blood, by man's blood shall be shed. So by man, his blood should be shed. So he's saying, whoever sheds man's blood, you murder somebody, by man, his blood will be shed. So by man, another man, your life will be forfeit or be taken. For in the image of God, He made man. Yet you're murdering an image of God, is what he's saying. As for you, be fruitful and multiply. Populate the earth abundantly and multiply it. I might have read that twice, sorry. And then God spoke to Noah and to his sons with them, saying, Now behold, I myself do establish my covenant with you. So this is a covenant. Covenant is a promise of the extreme. Covenant, meaning it's not broken. You're not supposed to break this no matter what. Covenant is very serious. And promise is kind of weak compared to covenant. You know, when you say, "Oh, I promise, give me my heart." When a man and a wife go to get married, you're making a covenant between the two of you and God and all the people that are there. It's a bond. It's something that's not supposed to be broken. All right, it happens. No, but I'm just saying this is what it's supposed to be. All right. So this is my covenant. Oh, where'd I go? This says, establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that comes out of the ark, even every beast of the earth. So he's saying, hey, that I'm making a covenant between you and every living creature on the face of planet Earth. Everything. This is the covenant. I establish my covenant with you and with all flesh, and all flesh shall never again be cut off by the water of the flood, neither shall there again be a flood to destroy the earth. Never again. We won't destroy the earth by flood. Okay. So, do we have evidence of that? Never again by flood. I mean, we still have floods today, right? But they're localized. They're too much rain in an area, river floods, or hurricane comes and raises the tides and you get floods. But it's only in that one area. Maybe part of a state or several counties. It's not the whole nation, not the whole globe. Here's the other thing we got to think about too. Remember way back when he was watering the plants? It wasn't with rain. He said water came from the ground. A mist came from the ground to water the plants and then would dissipate, right? We don't have that anymore. So he shut that off. Those valves are shut off. There is no more. That can't happen anymore. So whatever the earth's surface was like then is changed now because of the flood. And so that no longer happens. And we never had rain before then. Now we do. Now he opened up the waters, right? We have to. I'm making that assumption. Okay. And God said, "This is a sign of the covenant which I'm making between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all successive generations. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth." Now remember, in NIV, it said rainbow. Remember that? It says, I set a rainbow. This says, I set a bow in the cloud. Now this got me intrigued. So I had to do some more research. This is a Hebrew language. In Hebrew, the word is bow because it talks about like a bent form of like a weapon, like a bow, like bow and arrow. And so that changed it for me. You know, it used to, oh, rainbow, oh, it's so cute, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. Now I'm thinking of it. Well, if it's a weapon, that weapon, what a perfect covenant sign. You know, because you gotta wonder what symbolically, what, a rainbow. I mean, all the colors. That's pretty cool. It's very pretty. People misuse it today. They trying to use it for their own sake. A rainbow for their own sake. The rainbow was the original. That was a covenant between God and all creatures of the earth. You cannot displace that. Okay, and we need to keep that true. Anyways, now it's a bow, and it's a bow shaped like that, right? So every time we see it, it's like shaped like that. So if you put an arrow in it, it's going to shoot away from Earth, right? What a cool sign! What a cool, you know, hey, this was my bow. I have my wrath, and now, you know, I was disappointed with you guys, but now I will never do that again. I got my bow and arrow shot away from you. I won't destroy you by water again. Man, that's cool. Okay. Lost my place again. Why you guys do that to me? Just kidding. Sorry. Okay, bow in the cloud, blah, blah, blah. Set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign for the covenant between me and the earth. It shall come about when I bring a cloud over the earth, the first reference to clouds, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and never again shall the water become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the cloud, when I look upon it, to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. And God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Now the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, we're moving on. So God's like, hey, this is my covenant. We got that. Now we're on Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. So, where did all the rest of the people today come from? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And their wives and kids. Okay. When Noah began farming, he planted a vineyard. He drank the wine, and he became drunk, and uncovered himself inside his tent. We do that, right? We have to get naked to get in the shower, to do whatever. Sometimes some of us sleep naked. That's your choice. And here he is. He's like, man, you know, just got drunk. And so uncovered himself sitting in his tent. In his tent. At least he's in his tent, right? He's not out there on a beach somewhere or whatever, right? Outside. So here we are. Ham and the father Canaan. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers. So Canaan went in the tent and saw it, or he peeked through, or whatever. He saw nakedness, right? So what does he do? He told his two brothers outside. So maybe he's inside. Hey, Dad is naked. You know, and so Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, right? They put it on their shoulders and walked backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. So maybe a blanket or something. And they walked backwards, looking away, didn't want to see nothing, don't need to see Pop's nakedness. and their faces were turned away so that they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine, he knew what his youngest son had done to him. Now, this is fascinating. He wakes up with a blanket on him, and he's like, my youngest son must have done this. Knew what he did. Knew that he was covered because of what his son saw. Not what Shem and Japheth did, right? But what Ham did. What Ham saw. Ham saw Shem and Japheth covered, and Dad woke up and said, that young boy saw too much, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the thought process was. So he said, to me, this is kind of crazy. Okay, he said, cursed be Canaan. You know, he wakes up, he's mad. Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants. He shall be to his brothers. So a servants, he's going to be to his brothers. He also said, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. And may God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. So he's like, hey, you know, your brothers are going to rule over you. Noah lived 350 years after the flood. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. That's the end of the chapter. So, man, not really the first curse, but the first curse that man gave, maybe, verbally. I think so, yes. So, why? Why? Why did he see that? Was he so upset about that? You know? There was something about that. Remember, we had the knowledge of good and evil. And that's kind of the thing we do, right? You start to see somebody naked, you're like, oh, I don't want to see that. Right? That's our natural instinct. For us to not be like that is, you know, more, I don't know. Don't want to talk about that right now. Anyways, so now Canan's cursed, right? Or Ham is cursed. So that's interesting. Wait, let's go back to that, right? Ham was the father, right, of Canaan. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness. Yeah, so wait a second. Ham was the one that saw his father's nakedness. And when Noah woke, he said he knew his youngest son, what his youngest son had done to him. And he said, cursed be Canaan. And Canaan was Ham's son. So Ham saw, right? So I'm sorry, I apologize. That was wrong before. So Ham saw him naked, told his two brothers, Shem and Japheth. Shem and Japheth covered him. Noah wakes up, he gets mad at Ham and curses Canaan, his son. So Noah curses his grandson. Wow. Fascinating. And here's the funny thing. I don't have all the answers. Some people don't have all you know, it's that's why it's called living word, right? It's a living, breathing thing. It's sometimes it's hard to decipher or determine. And that's okay. That's okay. God likes us to be wandering a little bit, you know, gets our minds going again, remember? And gets our hearts thinking about it, gets our souls wondering about it. And it could be days, weeks, years, a lifetime before he reveals that truth to us, what it is that he was trying to say to us in that verse. So at that point in time, we like take a little pen, you know, like a little safety pin, you kind of tag to the cork board, you know, to hold that piece of paper on there, telling you don't forget eggs, right? Or bacon or milk, your grocery list. Put a pin in that, you know, right there. Why did Noah curse his grandson for what his youngest son had done to him or had seen of him? Hopefully, let's pray. Lord, we'll find this out, why this was important. Might not be important at all. It might have been Canaan was the first person he saw waking up, and we don't have that part of the picture. So it's like, it might be a mystery until we, you know, get to ask God personally, hey, God, what happened there? It's like, oh, man, Noah woke up, saw his grandkid, it was like, curse you, Canaan. That was what it was. And maybe he woke up with a headache. And when you have a headache, you don't think right, right? So he's like, oh, I'm going to curse somebody. Who is it? Canaan. Oh. Forever done. So, was that the end of the chapter? Yes, because Noah lived 950 years. And then he died. Whew. Still living a long time, right? But this is after God had made the statement, hey, I'm going to limit man. He's already passed that limit of 120 years. So now he gets to go. He goes to 950 years. Man, could you imagine? So if you were born in 2000 and then you live 930 years, you would live to the year 2950. Wow, that's incredible. Very cool. It also makes sense too. You know, if men was living that long, we see these huge monoliths, the pyramids and things like that we can see from ancient times. These buildings that were built, you know, long before people can remember what they were or even documented. And I'm sure pyramids would probably, you know, we still speculate how they were built, right? And if you had that much time on your hands, you had enough time to build stuff like that, right? Nowadays it goes up so fast because of technology we have. But very cool. All right, well, hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to leave in the comment section down at the bottom there. And give us a like and a subscribe. I was told by my editor I'm supposed to, you know, say these things, which I kind of figured y'all know this. If you're watching YouTube, you know this. Everybody says this stuff. So if you like and subscribe, I would rather you share instead. You know, put on your smartphone a quick link of the phone, and then when you hear somebody saying, man, I'm just having a hard time reading my Bible, hey, I know a guy, and he reads it for you. So send that off to them, you know, via text or email, and then let them select the link, and I'll read it for them. And the goal is to help get you guys excited about God's Word and what He has to say about you and Him, and get you reading your own Bible. Hey, how cool is that? Be able to read it on your own, and then you can read it and go, man, that guy really fumbled up that word. You know, and because you're trusting me right now, and I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. All right, so have a great day, great evening, great afternoon, wherever you're at. Whatever troubles you have, I pray God will help you through them, help you power over them, and I pray that you will see His love and the love of His people all around you. Alrighty, have a good one. Until next time.